Bolivian High Command. It's the Bolivian High Command. It's the best. All the rest. The Bolivian High Command.
Welcome to Frame Drop Explained Part 2. Let's say you want to record at a low frame rate and low resolution, like so. But you want to play the game at a high frame rate, high resolution, because who wants to play at low frame rate, low resolution. So you want to play the game like this, but you don't want to record like that. Well, what do? Well, OBS gives you an option. What you do is you go to OBS, you go to audio, you go to settings, video, you enable OBS rescale, like that. And now you can play the game at high resolution and you can record at low resolution. Alright, so now that we've started recording, we turn on OBS and we send the video stream to file like so. And we want to make sure we have a nice steady state stream to file. What we want to avoid is overflow, where we get frame drop, where we have frames leave the OBS video buffer and they're gone forever. Now, whether or not we get frame drop is determined by our software settings and also our hardware. And we have some degree of control over either both the hardware and the software. And now in OBS, I'll show you how we can do that, and I'll also show you how the wrong settings can give you frame drop, and also the degree of frame drop depends on how badly you get your settings. So I'll demonstrate all that now. So before I talk about the OBS settings that address frame drop, I want to show you what hardware I'm running on, because this will be important. So here we are. Here's the hardware. In terms of hardware that's relevant to encoding, I'm running an Intel CPU, an i5 3330 at 3 gigahertz. I'm running my GPU is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 760. And lastly, I also have a onboard Intel GPU, dedicated GPU, that's actually not being used at all because I'm using my NVIDIA card instead. Alright, so back to OBS settings. So the two settings we care about are going to be found in Output, Advanced Mode, go to Recordings tab, and the two settings are the choice of encoder and the CPU usage preset down here. Now, the encoder choice is I have 3 encoder choices, and they each correspond to one of my hardware CPUs or GPUs. X264 will if I choose that encoder, it means it'll use my i5 Intel CPU to do the encoding. We call that a software encode. If I choose NVEC, that means it'll use my NVIDIA GTX 760 to do the encode. We can call it a GPU encode. If I use QuickSync, that'll use my Intel GPU, unused Intel GPU to do the encode. That's another type of GPU encode. Alright. For now, let's stick with software encode, which will use my i5 Intel CPU to do the encode. Alright. So for CPU usage preset, faster is better to avoid frame drop. You might ask, well, why don't we use fast all the time? Well, the faster the less CPU you use, the faster our choice, the bigger our file size. So that's a consideration. All right. These other choices, these other settings are important. Briefly, just without too much explanation, I'll go over some settings you should use. You should always use CRF, which is constant image quality. That's as opposed to constant bitrate, which we use for streaming. Now, under CRF, we have to specify the image quality we're trying to attain. A choice between 0 and 20 is usually good. 10 is a choice I like to use. Profile should be high if we're planning to upload to YouTube. Tune, none is a safe choice. And then lastly, we use some custom options if we want to upgrade to YouTube. B-frames 2, key intervals equals 15 frames. So how do you measure frame drop? Well, you go to log files, you find the right log, you find the appropriate recording session inside the log. I have to hunt around a bit. And here we go. So right after where it says streaming stops, it'll tell you number of skip frames due to encoding lag. In this case, 34.5%. So that's your frame drop, 34%. Now, I'll show you several different examples of recordings taken at different CPU presets, and I'll show you how the frame drop varies as a function of preset. Thanks for watching Frame Drop Explained Part 2. In Part 3, we'll go over the use of the GPU and recording at higher resolution and higher frame rates.